Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Welcome to another episode of Unpackin'it with MJ
and Ferdie.
Someone asked us to continue dancing because we didn't the last time.
Because they wanted to expose me. But we see you.
So, yeah, welcome back, you guys. If you're returning, thank you so much. We appreciate the support, the love, and the interactions on YouTube and offline.
Yeah.
And if you're here for the first time, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And do subscribe, like, and join in the conversations. So, guys, before we start, please talk to your brother. Like, Freddie has this new thing that's so annoying. You guys, like, when I ask Freddie to do something, like, even if it's, say, Freddie, please pass me that bottle, or Freddie, please go to the shops, or Freddie, please make me something to eat, what do you say?
No, I say yes. And I go do it. And I haven't run.
Lies he
with
tells.
enthusiasm.
Lies he tells.
Never say no.
So Freddie has this new thing where he literally asks me back whatever it is I'm asking him. Case in point, Freddie,
we have
please,
to normalize Uktuma.
Freddie, please give me, pass me water. Oh no, babe, can you please pass me water? Freddie, please go to the shops. Oh no, babe, can you go to the shops? It drives me up the wall. Listen, I don't mind you, Uktuma, but please do it in your own, at your own volition and in your own time, and be original.
But like, you're the master of Uktuma, so I must learn from you.
Anyway, without wasting any further time, so today we're going to share on how we got here in the most literal sense. So basically, we're going to give you guys a bit of a rundown and backstory as to how we got to pack our lives in our little suitcases and moved abroad. And part of the inspiration for this was?
Yeah, nice. So it's very weird how we got here, or how we would even find ourselves here.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying, like, highlight the inspiration as to why we're doing this.
Oh, yes. So I have a friend of mine. He's been asking me to share, and we'll probably give the brief version. But he says that it is always important whenever God does something for you to always highlight it. When we don't do that, we take away from Him.
We will overcome by the blood of the word and the
Lamb.
Oh.
And they shall overcome by the blood of the Lamb
But then
and the word
of the
their
testimony. Yes.
Yes.
So that's why we're doing this. I just had a bit of a tongue twist today. Yeah. But so yeah, we're going to share it more as a form of a testimony of how we got here and just a rundown. And a lot of it was dependent on Freddie's experience. So babe, take us through your experience.
Yeah, so it was in 2017. I was coming to the end of my contract and everything was going well. You know, I was confident. I was, my career was going well. I was growing spiritually and things were just going well.
You were top rated.
I was top rated at my business. Like, things were going well.
Yeah.
I was, like for a young professional, when they talk about peaks, I was at the peak of my powers.
At your zenith.
At my zenith, yes.
Yeah.
So I had gotten a contract and I'd signed a contract to go work overseas, and everything was like, I was ready to pack up my bags, and the only thing we were waiting for is just that one last step. Then I'm off, right? And
we're dating then, right?
Exactly. But we can only speculate whether we would still have remained dating.
Well, thank God things happened the way they did.
Yeah. So a month goes, lo and behold, they come back and they say visa denied, and like it didn't make sense, but they kept on assuring us that no, it's a small blip because they just introduced a new system, so they were just going through some teething issues. So there was no startle. I wasn't startled. So 2 months, 3 months started going, denied.
So just to give you a backdrop on that, so this new system allowed for them to take in so many professionals, and then when they hit a quota, they'll deny everybody else, then you just had to keep on reapplying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you reapply without actually having assurance that you've been waiting for 3 months, maybe you're gonna get first preference or not. So every time you're starting afresh.
And it had just gotten introduced. Because literally, I think the previous batch, it wasn't even...
Literally, it got introduced the month I actually was
to
supposed to go.
apply, yeah.
Like, so if I had had that interview a week earlier,
Probably
I would have been in the cycle which allows me to go before it got introduced. So, and it things just went from bad to worse. By the time February came, I was on full panic mode, and I thought to myself, let me make an alternative plan. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to apply at a different country, but still pursue that overseas experience. And I went and I applied, and did they not come, and denied. And this time it was even painful because the denial was one without any sort of recourse.
They said it's because you did not have a job in your country of origin, therefore they don't trust that you would leave or something like, I can't remember.
You'd return.
Or you'd return, something like
And
along
in my
those
mind
lines.
I was like, why wouldn't I
Guys,
return?
I
And it was a 3-year contract.
I
So
got so upset. I literally wrote a letter to like one of the heads that was managing that department, and literally like, no, when my boyfriend was supposed to come, he got a job, he got a contract now. And then unfortunately they got back to me with a response that referred me back to the same department that was issuing the acceptances or denials of visas. So it was like better lost.
Yeah. So like it was the most painful thing. But everyone around me was trying to, encourage me, give me confidence. But at that point, everything started from there onwards. In fact, things were already starting to go downhill.
Yeah.
But like they started just spiraling downhill. Like I think I did about 300 applications.
At least it felt like it. And doubt.
I'm sure.
Tell me about the doubt.
Like doubt started creeping in me, like everything. Like it was a dark period.
Yeah.
Everything started spiraling down, and confidence, all that confidence which I had garnered from the past year, all the experience which I gained, everything. I felt like I was just going through atrophy. Things were just not good, eh? It was, I believe it was one of probably my darkest areas. And just trusting God became so difficult.
I remember one time you even telling me that you felt impotent as a man and as a son, and you say stuff like you're feeling like a burden.
Exactly. And the reason was it's only after the fact now I can say that, but then I didn't realize that my profession, my identity was linked to my profession, because I was always Ferdie who's a Christian, but who's also this, right? So I only just then became Ferdie who was a Christian. And in my mind, it never seemed enough because of what was going on around me. All that my peers were thriving. They were having jobs. Some of them bought cars and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was just a dark period, and it continued for about 8 months. For about 8 months, and murmuring. I never thought I was one to murmur, but the murmuring started, and like it was always like, God, why me? And people would be like, just be grateful, you've got a family, you've got shelter, and I genuinely wanted to feel like I genuinely heard what people were saying, and it was so true and honest. But at that very moment, I felt like, but why me?
And the
what
worst
did I
part,
do?
And the worst part is, after being top rated and all these amazing things you have on your CV, you can't even get a job locally because you don't have enough qualifying points.
Apparently,
you need so many equity points
I
and
don't
stuff,
have
as you
enough
guys know.
equity.
So he doesn't have
Even
enough
though I look like
equity
this, I
points
have
and
none.
stuff. Yeah, so it was like a whole shebang where even recruitment companies were saying, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
Like,
I even had this one recruitment company call me a poisoned chalice.
like imagine
Like
you
they're
guys
like,
like
no
how,
one's gonna touch you, dude.
oh how low can one get?
Yeah.
So like literally this went on for a good 8 months, and I remember there were days when you didn't even want to get out of bed, and you didn't want to like get out of the house, and that sometimes like with me and your family would find like all these chores and stuff that we always ask you to do just to keep you busy and stuff.
Exactly. Especially my mom. She'd just wake up. She was like, oh, okay, go get me this.
Your mom's a
Go
champ.
get
She
me
tried
this.
to keep you out of the house as much as she could.
Exactly.
That's
And sometimes
good.
we'd go to gym. She was my gym buddy.
Yeah. But anyway, tell them what happened after.
And so this thing went on and on and on. So it got to a point where my confidence was absolute. I can't miss this. You know, it's very funny. A year earlier, I was at the peak of my powers, right? And over the next, I think by then it was about 7 months or so. I think up until then, I'd never cried. Yeah.
Are you going to
At least-
confess on camera, national camera, that when I endured, man of the man,
Yes.
you cried?
Yes. So up until then, up until June 2017, I believe,
Yeah.
Matsepo and Lee and Tawan Sandy
Yeah.
could confirm.
Really?
But yeah, I don't remember when. But up until that point, right, I hadn't cried since I can as long.
Yay high.
I'm sure I'd gone more than a decade without crying at all. Because I'm African. Come on, like I'm an
Yeah,
African
well,
man.
you stopped being African last year in July.
Yeah, because you know I was an African man, but that period it drew me. Like I still remember at church this one time, because we were doing the lesson and I was just sharing and I just burst out in tears.
Shame.
Like it was, and you know, if you haven't cried for like 10 years, it's not going to be sanitized. It's not going to be pretty. It's not
But
like
you're not just crying for what's at hand. You're crying for everything that's been. My best friend does exactly the same. She cries once in a while, but when she cries, it's for everything that's ever happened.
And it's not like that.
No,
you
please
know?
don't.
Because you don't know. You just don't know how to cry. It's bad. It was bad. Even me, I was embarrassed. But I was crying and embarrassed. It was a confusing time. It was really confusing. But anyway, like, my confidence was so shot. Then, out of nowhere, I had this friend of mine. We hadn't spoken in a long... Ever since we'd left. Then, for some reason, that period, we started talking. And it was like, oh, dude, like, I have this recruiter. Can I refer you? And I've gone through all these recruiters, and I'm like, at that point, my confidence is low, and I'm like, what's the point? It's not gonna work anyway.
I don't know if I said this before, but I'll tell you. Your story literally is a literal application of man makes plans, but God's will prevail.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what happened. Because it's almost like when you least expected, something just hits you.
Exactly.
And you know it has to be the hand of God.
Exactly. And when he came was when things were spiraling so quickly. I was busy crying at church amongst other adults with their children there. So now I don't even know what they think, the children think. But anyway, so he comes and is like, oh dude, I've referred you. So a recruiter is gonna call you and like you can give him. And I was at that point, my confidence was so low. So I didn't even want to apply. And like MJ was like, dude, you have to apply. And I was like, oh, so what? So I can get more disappointed. Because the more I applied, I didn't get responses. But when I started getting responses, the interviews didn't go well.
Or they'll go well, but you wouldn't really hear anything back.
It means they didn't go.
Babe, I think some of them did. It's just your problem. You did not carry enough points.
Yeah, so like it was yeah.
Whatever the company needs were. But I just honestly think it's
so this guy, and he says, dude, apply. And in my mind I'm like, I don't want to apply. Like at that point I've experienced so much disappointment that I'm like if my hands were being cut, I literally didn't have anywhere else to cut. Then MJ pushed me. He was like, okay, just this one last time, just apply. And in my mind, I'm like, but look at what they require. I don't have this experience because I didn't have that experience.
Guys, by the way, you all need an optimistic girlfriend. Hey, can you believe with every place where he went for an interview or where we had some wind of some potential, I always say that's where we're going. That's what we're getting.
Exactly.
But yeah, that kind of kept me motivated too. In as much as I thought I was doing it to motivate you, I think for me as well, that's why I still have that drive to say one last time.
I think that's what made it more painful.
Really?
Because with every not the encouragement.
Oh.
I mean, like with every high, because you'd go through ups and lows, highs and lows, right? And that point where you get the interview and you go and you think you did well. You'll be in such a high that in your mind you think this is finally it. All those bad months are going to go. This is finally my breakthrough. And it comes back and it's not your breakthrough.
Yeah.
So I was scared of that because I didn't have the necessary qualifications actually for, well, not qualifications. I had the qualifications, but I didn't have the experience.
This is with now this new recruiter guy that your friend has referred you
Exactly.
to. Okay.
So he said, just apply. What's the worst that could happen? And in my mind, I'm like, my sanity. But and MJ pushed me, and I was like begrudgingly actually. I was like, you know what? I'll apply. Then I applied. Then actually, it happened so quickly. I still remember.
This was September.
I sent in, it was now in August.
September.
Yeah. I send in my CV. Then this recruiter comes 2 days later. They want an interview with you, and I'm like, are you sure they actually looked at it? And because I don't have the experience in this one specific area. Then he's like, no, they want to talk to you, right? And I prepare and I do everything, and did I not go into that interview? Remember, my confidence is shot. Everything is shot. And did the person who eventually became my boss not ask me questions I actually knew? Literally, of all the questions, the recruitment questions he could have asked, he asked the few I knew, and he was satisfied, right? And like we speak, and he's saying that he loves my attitude. And before I even finish, and this is the craziest part, remember, throughout these months, I'm having these recruiters tell me that we'll give you an answer. Then he tells me during the interview that I am so excited, I think you're going to be joining us. In my mind, I thought maybe it's like tongue-in-cheek, or maybe made a mistake.
I remember you were obsessing over that.
Exactly, because I was trying to think, like, who could be so sadistic to give someone such hope and not want them?
In an interview, no help.
Exactly. Yeah. And because of all the heartbreak I had gone through, I wasn't confident. So then, like, he's like, yeah, I'm setting you up with an interview with the managing director. Then the managing director, we try to have an interview, but now I can't get hold of the managing director, right? So I'm supposed to have the interview 2 days after the first interview, but I only have it a week after, right? Because the managing director was busy. But guess what? In my mind, I thought, oh, here we go again. Yeah. They'd said that we're going to have it 2 days later.
So maybe they're just standing you up like everybody else. Yeah.
Maybe they decided that, oh no, this guy's rubbish. We don't want him, right? And I'm starting to, my mind is going over there. Then this, when I have the talk with him, he says, the first thing he does, he apologizes. He goes literally about a quarter of that meeting. It was very short. A quarter of that meeting, he's apologizing to me for not getting back to me earlier and stuff. Then he starts asking me questions. I respond, and he starts telling me what they're looking for, and he says that you're exactly what we're looking for. Wow. And he says that we'll just look at other candidates and we'll get back to you. In my mind, I thought that looking at other candidates is code for, yeah, no, we don't want you. And the next day, not even far, The next day, my recruiter calls me and says, dude,
They want you.
they want you.
They want you.
How soon can you start? And this is August. And I'm like,
This
what?
is September now, I think. It wasn't.
Oh, September,
first
yes,
week of
yes.
September
It
or
was
something.
September.
Yeah.
They were like,
You were literally on the phone, on the call with them, and then next thing you know, you were leaving in 3 weeks or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. They were like, how soon can you come? If possible, can we have you next week?
Guys, the panic in my heart, I'm like, Lomjiang Shia, he's leaving me. I don't even know if he's taking me with, guys. I'm just there like, I'm your girlfriend, dude. Like, now what?
Like, at that point, it's like, what? I just moved from going through all those interviews and 8 months of quote-unquote hell for things which
I
tried
suppose
to
the
do.
last few months are not so bad because you'd also gotten that short-term gig, if I could put it like that. Yeah, but also that wasn't like, it must have been like a really, really like step down from what you anticipated, because in your mind you're already working abroad and your ducks are in a row. Next thing you know, you're in this short-term gig where you're filling in for someone who was off for a little while or something like that, right? Yeah.
So like it was amazing, like how and it was amazing how God could just, like, I'd tried for so long. I'd sent in more than 100 CVs, and the one job which I never felt enthusiastic about, the one job which I never felt like I was qualified for, was the one job where everything worked out perfectly.
And it was such a smooth transition.
And as if things weren't bad then. Up until at that point, doubt had been so ingrained in my heart that even positives, it was so easy to extinguish the fire of positivity from me. Because after I got the job and the excitement and everything, I didn't even tell my family, because at that point I didn't want to disappoint them, because I knew that I'd gotten a job before twice and visa issues. So my mind started going, my doubt started going to the visa issues, right? And I was like, God, I pray that the visa comes out. Then a week later, the visa was out.
And it happened so quickly.
It happened
so quickly. We were literally
quickly.
scratching around, trying to pack for you and trying to get you to leave. And, you know, I think I wasn't really ready for you to leave. Because I remember the day you left, babe, I went home and I wailed my eyes. Like, I literally cried my eyes out. And worse off is I couldn't get hold of you the few days when you were traveling. And I'm like, he's already dumped me. Okay, I'm kidding. But I was dead worried. And I'm like, I wonder if he's okay. I wonder what's going to happen with us now. Because we really hadn't had that chat yet.
Exactly. And it had become that place where I still am convinced that experience, it grew us probably about 3 or 4 years. Added 3 or 4 years, because we went through so much at such a young stage of our relationship, and we got to see the yucky stuff about each other during that period. But I, when everything happened, even when I went to my family, I think they were so happy, because it seemed as if the light was there at the end of the tunnel. But now thinking about it, I don't think they actually ever got the chance to make peace with the fact that their son was about to leave and go to such a far away place, because it happened so quick. I told them this week that I might be leaving, and 3 weeks later I was gone. And
then coming to
that was me coming here. And when I came here, I thought that I would be we can't miss this one.
what?
I came here broke. I didn't have anything. And I come and they set you up with accommodation for like about 2 weeks, right?
Who does that? Not even a month. No, but I feel like it should be a month, because then they should at least give you provision up until you get your first paycheck.
Hey, we had nothing. Me, I was grateful. I was grateful. So after those 2 weeks, I went to this place. I looked at this place. I loved it. But guess what? I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it.
Like, you couldn't afford the deposit and the rent.
The deposit and the rent, right? So I went and I viewed it, and I was so happy.
Because I even got a call in the middle of the night because of time zones. It's like, babe, look at this place. And he was buzzing around like, I don't know, like a 2-year-old on sugar. And I was like, babe, look at the bathroom. Look at, and it was stunning. It was really stunning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford it. And guess what God did? And you know that verse is Psalms 23. You prepare
and play table before me in the presence.
Except for the part of the enemies, but he did prepare a table, because you know what, with the real estate agent, literally she had, before I came, she had someone view the place, and they were happy, and they said they would come back to her with money to pay deposit and rent on the normal price. But after I came, and even after I left, someone came with the money this time. But she called me and she's like, I want you to have this place. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to waive the deposit for now, and you can pay it to me over the next few months once you get paid. But not only that, she decided that since I was going through the most...
Like it's one of those, I can see you're going through a lot already, brother.
I didn't tell her. I believe God may have told her.
It was an impression.
She literally gave us like about a 17% discount on the monthly rent. So to give you perspective, if rent was supposed to be 100, the other guys had bought 200 rand in order to pay her for that month. For me, I had 83 rand, and I got the place with my 83 rand, and my rent for the rest of the year was 83 rand.
Wow, that is providence.
And talk about God making a way for you to go somewhere and preparing for you.
Yeah. And then, Babes, because Babes likes things, I continued working in SA, and we were literally in a long-distance relationship for 8 months. Perhaps that's another one where we could do a separate video on about our experience with the long-distance relationship and the impact it just had on us, on our spirituality, and just our family and our everyday life. Because Ferdie and I had become like really, really tight. We'd spend almost every day together, and now we'd have to literally spend every day apart and make it work. So yeah, it was really tough. But while my version, or rather my 2 cents in this story, is very short, I basically followed love. Like I did the whole fairy tale thing where I was obviously looking for a job this side, like remotely. But I remember around May, roundabout, I had a chat with one of our mutual friends where we sat in my car, and I was telling him, I'm like, you know, I actually think I'm ready to go next month with or without a job. And I remember him sitting there, he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I think things will work out when I get there. I honestly don't know, but I honestly just can't keep going through this. And I remember also praying about
Long
it.
distance is the worst.
I remember also praying about it, and I was like, good Lord, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to play this? You know, like, it's just hard being far away. Because, you know, with each day, you know, like, distance make the heart grow fonder. So, yeah, it was quite a struggle. So after, like, lots and lots of prayer, lots and lots of learning to trust and trust God's timing, it was just so fortunate that the time when I had some lead to a potential employment opportunity was around about the time I'd made up my mind that I was going to leave. I know Babeski was already ready to send through the money for the ticket. I came for you. And also, you know, I was talking about, I was like, the trust also that we had built between the two of us. Because what gave me assurance that when I landed here, I would find him at the airport. Namandas to this day. I always say that it's really amazing that
I could have had another family here.
You could have had another family here, another girl already, but yeah, I just chose to trust that was what was in store for me. So yeah, I picked up my bags and I followed. So we're going to make this a little interesting. For those who know us and who know us personally, you are disqualified from participating in this. So Ferdie and I are feeling a bit, you know, generous today. So
I never got this memo.
we're going to give a little sum, like a little sum to anyone who can guess where we are. We're going to give you three pointers or 3 clues, right? First, you gotta subscribe to our channel and then get someone else subscribe with you, because this little sum is gonna be for 2 people. And then you have to guess where we are, right? We're gonna give you 3 pointers. So the first one is, it has one of the most beautiful sands in the world. Sands and beaches. Yeah, sand and beaches. It is somewhere around the Bermuda Triangle. What is it called?
Caribbean.
What is
Let's
it called?
just leave it there.
Okay, it's somewhere in the Caribbean, so somewhere between North and South America. And the last clue is, what's the last clue?
We have people here. We actually stay in a place with some people.
That's not a clue. I could say one of the national animals is a turtle. Yes, no? Or is that giving too much? No. Yeah, one of the national animals is a turtle.
Too much. But
what
it's okay. Like, they must just Google that, and it's simple.
Yeah, so you can use Google. You can use
and first responder.
No, not first responder.
Okay, how many people?
I was gonna say.
How generous are we?
We're generous to give whatever little sum to like one person, but it's gonna be one person with whoever they choose to share the sum with them, right?
Oh, okay.
But we also wanna know where we are, and also you need to then state one fact about it that we did not mention, like one fact about this place that we may have not mentioned.
But we haven't mentioned any love.
No, but I mean, like, just say that it's this place and this is what it's also known
okay.
for.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because we've given 3 clues. So one person who gives us a very, very interesting fact about this place and answers, I suppose, one of the first responses, then we'll be in touch with you. Just make sure you're also following us on Instagram, because we'll probably contact you through that medium. So yeah, that's what we've got for you guys today, and we hope that it touched someone, it helped someone. I don't know, baby, if you have any last words or last
for me, the last words I have is, I think the most difficult thing to do in this world is to trust God. But always trusting God is the best way, even if you don't feel it. For us, at least from where we've been standing, our experience, every good thing that has ever happened to us has been because of God. And from what we've learned is, no matter what comes around, we will always trust God. Even when we fall, we pray that we get to our compass to trust God, because He's the only one who can guide us in this world.
And He's a God of providence. He chooses His methods and His ways, but if there's one thing God promises, is providence. As to how He does it, it's really not up to us.
Exactly.
Anyway, thanks again for joining in. See you on the next episode of Unpackin'it with MJ and Ferdie.